The Denver Nuggets and interim coach David Adelman have agreed on a deal to make Adelman the franchise's next head coach. Sources tell ESPN Adelman went 3-0 in the regular season after taking over for Michael Malone and won a playoff series, leading Denver to one win from the West Finals. So there it is. I like that. Shams kind of stealing the thunder from Josh Kroenke right there, who is going to make this announcement here from his own mouth coming up in about 2-3 minutes. I'm sure he'll say it now that it's out there. But Cecil, this is a big disappointment for me. This is the easy route. This is the cheap route, and I shouldn't be surprised because it's the Denver Nuggets, and this is what the Kroenkes do. But this is the wrong answer. This does not make the Denver Nuggets better in any way.
How many times do my conspiracies need to come true before everyone just stops calling it that? I said after the Clippers series, he's probably been told he's safe. He's probably been told he has nothing to worry about. You beat the Clippers, and this basically secures David Adelman as your head coach because look at what he's done, and they wouldn't have done that with Michael Malone, which is probably true. But is this the best money can buy? No, it's not. Why wasn't there a search? Why wasn't there an exhaustive search? Is this the best for Nikola Jokic? How do the players currently in that locker room listen to David Adelman if he's been there forever and the message as a new head coach might be a little bit stale? How does he differentiate himself from Michael Malone? They've heard this stuff before. Do people like Peyton Watson, who's a Calvin Booth guy, still have issues that the locker room became Malone guys versus Booth guys? That's a question as well, and this is underwhelming. And it's nothing to do with David Adelman and the fact that he was going to be a future head coach and his personality and everything that he's done in the 17-game sample size. He was going to be a head coach eventually, but David Adelman should be a head coach for a team that, a Chicago, a Utah, a Washington,
exactly right,
something like that, where they're on the come up. They've got, some work to do. They're kind of tanking. Give a coach a runway. You give a first-time head coach, the best player on the planet, the 5-time MVP. I'm just going to call him that. I don't care what else they've voted. You give him a 5-time MVP in Nikola Jokic, and you get to steer the rest of his prime for likely 4 years. Again, is this the best move you could make? My answer is no. This is very underwhelming and very disappointing, and our texters were all over it as well. The Tribe was chiming in saying, hey, Josh Kroenke's going to have a press conference by himself just to name the guy. So the GM's probably going to be Ben, and the head coach is now David Adelman. I am disappointed.
Yeah, it's the easy way out. It's the comfortable thing to do. And when you are in a situation that the Denver Nuggets are in, you don't want to just be comfortable. And we said it yesterday. We've talked about it a lot this week as we're at Thursday now. How does David Adelman make Jamal Murray better? How does David Adelman make Michael Porter Jr. better? I think the answer is he does not. And you know why I think that? Because I got 17 games as a sample size to prove my theory right. And yeah, I get it. Michael's shoulder was banged up, and Jamal Murray cares more about the blackjack table than he does the hardwood in the NBA. Does David change that? Now, maybe David doesn't take a day off to go watch his girls play volleyball, his kids play volleyball, which was the wrong message from Michael Malone, and we talked about that at the time. I just think this is the easy route. And that the easiest route is never the best route. The easy route, you cut a corner and you think that this get-rich-quick scheme, does that ever work out for anybody? Does the easy route ever pay off in the long run? The answer is no. You don't take the easy route. That's exactly what the Nuggets and Josh Kroenke did with this. David Adelman's a great guy, whatever. But as far as being the coach for the Denver Nuggets, he does not elevate anybody on that team. He does not elevate the philosophy or the theory or game plans that they're going to put forth. He's Michael Malone 2.0. That's what they just did. And sure, Michael got one NBA championship, but that's it, man. It's just so Kroenke. You just keep things the same so you don't have to ruffle any feathers. It's weak, it's lazy, and it's them telling us that winning a championship and another one for Nikola Jokic is not their main priority. That's what this does. Their main priority remains the bottom line and keeping that in the red. And if that's the main priority, congratulations. You've just done it for the next 4 or 5 years, and you will not win an NBA championship. This move, without further moves of moving Jamal Murray or Michael Porter Jr., this move cements the fact that the Denver Nuggets will not win another championship in the next 4 or 5 years unless major roster moves have been made.
Yeah, this implies and almost requires that major roster moves need to be made.
This is so disappointing.
Because David Adelman hired as the permanent head coach, it's just running it back. Doing the same stuff you've always done with a message that he was there. When things fell apart and the division was created within that Nuggets locker room, correct me if I'm wrong, David Adelman was there. I'm not saying he allowed it to happen. That was more Calvin Booth and Michael Malone allowing it to happen, but he was there. When the fracture happened, you needed a fresh voice. You needed at least a search. I said earlier in today's show, I want Josh Kroenke to lie to me and then hire David Adelman because that's what he was always going to do. I had a feeling about this. The sniffer was up on this of like, as soon as the Clippers
called it right when that series was over.
As soon as the series was over, it's like, has he been told he's got nothing to worry about? Has that already happened? And then taking OKC to 7. Man, they took the best team in the NBA record-wise to 7. Well, you should have beat them. And it was Adelman's inexperience that cost you from beating them in a close series. I was thinking about this just last night as the Knicks were choking. I was thinking about this just last night. Wouldn't you say in a tight series where every single decision matters, it really comes down to coaching? Right? Your superstars kind of even each other out, and SGA, Nikola, whatever, and the depth of their bench is outstanding, and the depth of your bench is not outstanding. But you take a couple of different coaching decisions. Again, Julian Strawther in Game 5, you win that game. That was a must-win. Mm-hmm. Must-win. And it was a decision from David Adelman to not do that. And then in Game 6, played him more, and oh my God, they look good, and they won. Well, how'd that happen? Because he was on a heater in the previous game and your head coach didn't respond. So we've already seen mistakes from this young man and now new head coach of the Denver Nuggets. I just think the better options were there to motivate this team. Unless there's massive personnel changes, I'm talking Jamal and MPJ both gone. If that's the case, then we're going to look at this Adelman hire a little bit differently, but I've seen the future. Here's what's going to happen. The Nuggets are going to win, 48 games, 50 games, give me a number, and they'll lose in the second round of the playoffs. And we'll go, oh, my God, they were right there. You were right there this year with very little help. And Adelman needed to be better, and you could have beaten OKC if your coach makes the better decisions. And he didn't, and you lost. And just because you got close and you could have, should have won, I'm just very underwhelmed. Disappointed is the first word I used. The second word I'll use is underwhelmed. This is an underwhelming hire from KSE, and that's not surprising. That's not surprising.
Quote from Josh Kroenke, the way the group rallied around him and his different voice and style of communication was fantastic to see. Pointed out the increased communication in the locker room and how they rallied around Adelman to finish the season strong. Finish the season strong? They got beat in the second round. How is that finishing? No matter if you think David Adelman did a good job in the 17 games he coached, a bad job, or was right down the middle, and I'm kind of in the middle there. He still lost in Game 7 of the second round with Nikola Jokic on your basketball team. That's not good enough. Let's not give out blue badges here and participation trophies because he took a bad situation and ended at the same exact finish point that Michael Malone finished a year ago. I'm not here to tell you Michael Malone should have kept the job. He had run its course. That had run its course, and especially with the Calvin Booth situation. But this is just, I just don't get it, Cecil. I don't understand.
Well,
I don't understand how anybody down there, starting from Josh Kroenke down, thinks that David Adelman elevates this roster, think that David Adelman turns Jamal Murray into an all-star. Why would you think that? I need a solid reason from anybody out there as to why they believe this is the right move.
Do you want a lie or do you want the truth?
I want the truth.
Because they feel like they've done enough. They feel like one championship's enough.
Unbelievable.
They feel like, well, with Nikola and then anything can happen. They don't feel like getting the best. They feel like getting by. And with Nikola, I mean, people are going to be excited. They're going to win a lot of games in the regular season. But it's about postseason success. And Adelman had the opportunity to take down OKC in 5 games. Not 6, 5. And so they reacted differently, different voice. Yeah, because Malone, all he would say is play Nikola more, and you guys are soft. And he'd yell all the time, and he'd get a technical on purpose at times. That's it. So different voice. Different voice? Maybe you should have paid attention to Michael Malone and told him to have a different voice.
Sounds like it'll be more of the same with the general manager as we're getting updates now on the future of Ben Tenzer, and we'll share that with you coming up next.
Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth. Dover